What you got there?
I have some vanilla ice cream.
Okay. Sounds boring.
Does it?
Yeah. Just plain old vanilla.
Well, I kind of like it
Why do you like it?
because it's got a, I know what to expect out of it.
Hmm.
It's comforting, it's creamy, it's cool on a hot summer day.
Mm-hmm.
I can like it.
Do you like things on it? Sometimes maybe something a little extra.
You know, yeah, sometimes I do like to add a little extra to things.
I've got some nuts here.
Ooh, nuts.
That sounds like that appeals to you today.
Take a few of those.
How about some cherries? Are you in the mood for cherries today?
Ooh, cherries, yeah. Put some cherries on there.
There we go.
There we go. So it's not quite so vanilla-y anymore.
Vanilla-y.
Vanilla-y.
But it's still rich and delicious, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So while he savors a little more of his ice cream, what does ice cream have to do with sex? Well, I actually think there's a lot of similarities. Ice cream has a lot of flavors. So does sex. We have our favorites, and sometimes we want something a little different. And sometimes that means a different flavor altogether, and sometimes that just adding a little bit of topping on to our vanilla sex to really fit the mood that we're in.
Vanilla sex with a twist.
We are the sexagenarian sages.
We're here to bust the myths of sex and aging.
Mhm. So how do you, actually, I want to ask why. Why do you want to dress up vanilla sex?
Well, you know, sometimes you want just a little something more.
Mhm.
Maybe a little crunch, a little color.
And I also think about when you've got, let's say you've got a partner who's kinky and you're not. Are there ways that you can dress up vanilla sex to make it a little more exciting? It doesn't have to be wild and crazy kinky. Where can you find a meeting of the minds and a meeting of the bodies with vanilla sex? And it may be a jumping off point.
Yeah, vanilla is a good base,
Mm-hmm.
and it really is a nice place to start, and it can be very comforting. But sometimes adding those other elements, well, that can be done through experimentation.
Yes.
If you want to experiment with different positions, different items or toys, you have a couple of things over there, don't you?
Yeah. Well, let's take this. You can actually add a vibrator to vanilla sex. And it may be, this is a particular favorite of mine. We talked about it during the sex toys video. It's a bullet vibrator that actually tucks between my labia. Adding that vibrator can add just a little something more. And it doesn't have to be used on my genitals. It can be used on other parts of my body. Just to add that little bit of sensation. So adding a vibrator is one of the things that you can add to add a little bit of spice to vanilla sex.
What else you got?
To appeal to the sensual in me. This happens to be fractionated coconut oil. It's massage oil. That little bit of smoothness that can add sensation and depth to the play. Or maybe it's not on my skin that I want it. Maybe I want some scent, and that can be done through scented oils. It can be done through incense, scented candles, spraying some perfume in the room.
Adding some to a cloth that you have nearby
Mm.
so you can smell it. Or using a diffuser in your room.
You need to eat some more of your ice cream before it melts.
Yeah.
So, let's see, we've talked about the blueprints before. The massage oil and the scents that I presented are going to appeal to the sensual. So that's actually where it's helpful to know the blueprint of your partner, because it helps you to know what little additions will help turn them on.
And that will appeal to you if they understand your blueprint.
Mhm.
It's kind of a meeting of the minds, meeting of the blueprints, so that you can work around each other's desires and what really turns each of you on.
As I said, this can be a place where someone who's kinky can find some synergy with a partner who isn't kinky, by exploring those areas where the partner is willing to give something a try. So I've got a couple of things here. A blindfold. Maybe that's a little bit of an edge that they can try out, and it's something that they have control over. They can take it off if they start feeling uncomfortable. Where's a place that you could start playing in this realm? Talk about bondage. Some people like to be tied up, some don't. Is there a way that you can play with bondage that would make the person more comfortable? May I borrow your arms for a moment?
You may.
Just hold them out.
Notice we're using consent here.
Yep. So perhaps, actually, I'd like you to turn around, please.
Uh-oh.
And put your arms behind you. And maybe simply holding their arms, holding a part of their body still, is a bit of restraint that you can play with to see if that's something that they're comfortable with. And this is where safe words come in.
Yeah, if it comes to a moment where they feel uncomfortable with this, maybe it's red, and then you stop.
And we'll do a video about safe words.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping we can have our kinky fairy godmother join us on
Oh,
that
that would be
video.
fun.
What little things can you add to vanilla sex to make them even more satisfying when you're in the mood for it? If you're in a day when you're in a mood, you just want straightforward sex, go for it. It doesn't have to be wild and crazy all the time, or if you want it wild and crazy, then work with somebody who can help you discover how to make that work for yourself and in your relationship.
I think the point here is you've got choice and consent to work with.
But who would you work with?
Ah,
I mean, it's sex. Where are you gonna find somebody to help you with sex?
well, I think we're sex coaches.
Yes.
We can help you with improving your game. We like coaching. We've been coached. Coaching is a valuable way to approach what you want to change in your life, because coaches can often see things that you can't.
And they have access to tools and resources that you may not even know about. One of the things that I discovered when we started doing this work was all the things I didn't know about.
You don't know what you don't know.
So, if you got questions, reach out to us. You want to give us, we'd love to have you drop a comment. Our contact information's down below.
Subscribe.
And tune in next week for another edition of Advice from the Sexagenarian Sages.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm going back to my ice cream.